Hello everybody, welcome to tonight's stream. Duck here. So yeah, let's see what we got going on here. So pulled up Bitcoin chart again. We've been following this obviously for the past few days, so just kind of see where we landed after everything's starting to shake out here. So looks like what's kind of happening here, we put this kind of head and shoulders. You can see it there in the let me move the harmonic out of the way. Let's see here. So sorry about that. Okay, so we had this head and shoulders pattern here, put in this kind of neckline, fell through it, ended up probably hitting a measured move right there. Now we've back tested basically that previous kind of neckline as resistance, broke through it initially but failed to hold, and have now since back tested and are now proceeding to sell off. So what we're hoping to see here is this area here, which is this upsloping trend line coming from way down here on the previous harmonic, right? So we have this upsloping trend line support here that we're hoping to backtest that one last final time around this area here, putting in a third consecutive higher low, and this would also give us this harmonic. Okay, so if we can paint it, if we can paint this harmonic right here, basically something like this, then that puts our 786 retracement right on that upsloping trend line, and that would paint a bullish Gartley. You could see we had a perfect 618 on the B, so from X A high, B low. From the X low to the A high, it retraced 61.618% of the way. Okay, so that's the key signal for a Gartley on a B. Okay, so we're hoping we can sell off, hit this zone here, anywhere in this area is going to be a full go. Okay, so our stop would be below this previous wick low, basically at like 54. Don't put a stop right at 54, put your stop below, like like 53.9 or something, right? So stop should be below, not exactly on. Okay, so with Bitcoin, if we can hit this Gartley, that would then put us into some target levels up here, right? So this is the kind of thing we're looking for, where we can get a potential sorry, let me fib that, from our current A high to what would be our D low. And you can see we have let's see, what were we looking at on this? Oh, what I've just started to do there is just started to line up areas. Okay, so let's mark that one, let's get rid of it. Okay, so we marked it red. Then we'll come back to this previous structure, high to low. Okay, so we'll go high to low a second time. Whoops. We'll go from the X high to this D low, and we're going to mark again another couple of targets here. So we have another 1414 here, and we'll mark another one up here at this 1618. Okay, so this is how we're starting to identify an area. We did not mark any green ones, so let me move those ones so you could just see the red ones. Okay, now let's go back one more time to the previous structure again of this harmonic. Okay, so we basically are using the 3 harmonics, and we're using Fibonacci on all of them. Okay, so again, from this previous high to low, and let's go back and look at where this lined up with our red lines. Okay, see that? So again, we basically could paint even a 4th line right here on this 1618 now. So now when I delete the fibs, okay, and clean this up, you can see this area where all these fibs fell. Okay, there's like 3 of them were 1618s, and then we had like a 1414, I believe. So now that we have that dialed in, I'll kind of clean this up a little bit here. and this is why we're targeting this zone. Okay, so that would be our take profit area if we can fill along. That's that's kind of, it's been the plan, and so far we're selling off right now, so things are looking good. All right, let's check on Ethereum. Okay, again, sorry, we have all of our artwork from the previous conversation, right? So each time it's kind of nice to just reevaluate, see which areas are still in play, see which areas are out of the picture. It's never just this one clear, concise story, right? We have to react as things develop. So basically, let me delete this harmonic here and this one. Okay, so this asset here, it's upsloping trend line. Unlike Bitcoin, you see how on Bitcoins we were aiming for this blue trend line, but with ETH it's so far away from it that I don't think we'll make it all the way back there. So you can see that that trend line just is raising, that incline just went vertical. Okay, so maybe we backtest this, break through it a little bit, backtest this. It's not the biggest deal if we lose it for a little bit, right? It's just all about follow through, and these trend lines, again, they're not the biggest deal. It's just something to kind of gauge as a potential area. All right, it's all the other variables that we're looking for, which ultimately is the long. So what we're doing here is just looking for somewhere to refill, right? So we're just trying to identify those potential refill zones basically for our long entry. So it looks like we put a pretty good double top here, and it seems like traders are holding the level, the bears are holding this level really well. So if we kind of do something like this and we bring this up here, you could see our first high right here, and then we basically had another equal high, and this is on the 4 hours. So right there we basically are putting in like a double top, and hopefully that'll push price down just enough to get everything to reset so we could take it for a long again. And then ideally what you would be looking to see is like we get over here somewhere and this third touch point is just not going to hold, right? So say we get some selling into this buy zone. When we get up to this area here and you reach this level again for the third time, it's kind of like 1, 2, 3. That third time is usually the up thrust that we would be looking for. Okay, so that being said, all we're trying to do is basically buy the dip, right? Because there's not going to be this level's we're gonna leave this range, and we're gonna end up once we leave the range up here, we're gonna end up back testing it as support now, and then we will be out of this range. Okay, so this dip that you are hoping to see in this zone down here is basically your last dip before you go up into the next levels. Okay, so we're hoping to see maybe get some kind of X, A, B, another D high here, 886. Basically we wicked a little higher, but again, that's just people aping in at the top. You can't help that. It's all about the follow through price action, and follow through came well below the 886. So now we'd be looking for like a 786, 886 again. So 786 falls right here in our sweet spot, little pocket area between 1950 and 1920. So I'd just be layered all over this zone, and hopefully we get that fill. And if not, so be it. We reevaluate, right? We don't like buying in the middle of the range. We want to buy the bottom of the range and sell, the top of the new range. This is like a midpoint here. So again, let me show you what I'm kind of saying there. If I was a channel, okay, and I decided that this was the new bottom once we back test it, where I pull this up to the harmonics as the middle of the range, right, where this resistance would be, you could see the top and the new range high is going to be in this first kind of identified zone. And it's because we have two targets. It's okay. As we get up in this area, just like we're doing now, we'll dial everything in, right? This is projections and ideally where we're going to be, but until we get this, until we could break out of this range and hold above 2140, you know, these are just, you know, foresight here. Okay, so that's ETH basically. Again, layer between 1920 and 1950, and look for a fill there. Moving along, we have Binance. Okay, so Binance, we invalidated this shark completely, okay? Too bullish over here. This was too bullish. So last night, let's get rid of this now. This is not gonna play out on that area. This area is gone. New buy zone is now up here. This is gone. This is gone. This is gone. And this happens, okay? We just have to adjust as we get more data. Okay, so our stop still remains right there. We're still good with that. So what we talked about last time we evaluated Binance is we identified this ascending or this symmetrical triangle pattern. And basically what we said is that this has a measured move here that's neutral. Remember, we said this is a neutral pattern. This could both break to the upside, which it did about right there, or this could have broken to the downside, right? And that would have been something like this, which we were hoping to get into that buy zone, right? So if we look at what happened here, zooming in a little bit, so you could see that this obviously broke to the upside, and this hit the measured move and then sold right back off and basically kind of almost back tested this. If it was a little, maybe a little wider, kind of back tested it like this as support, and then just ran again, right? So now maybe we get some kind of sell-off, hopefully, but this asset just got really bullish, okay? So people just did not want to see this get pushed down to those lower levels, right? So ultimately, do I still think this level is in play? Absolutely. This is so strong that you know, you could see the 450 target upcoming on BNB. So again, if Bitcoin though decides to nuke a little bit here, we look for a pullback zone, potential backtest of this previous neckline area that was once resistance. Ideally, you now backtest it and flip it into support. We don't really have a harmonic here, and that's fine. I mean, it happens. There's not always a harmonic, okay? So ideally, we'd just be looking to other assets like ETH and like Bitcoin, and just seeing if we can get this to push back down into this level or not on BNB. But you know, so what if BNB's already gone? Let it be gone. We don't care. We have other assets that are gonna put us right into our buy zones, okay? So if one of them is already out of it, so be it. There's like 20 other ones, okay? Just move along. We'll get BNB another day. Okay, so YFI again, same thing, broke out last night. Let's see what it did. This is how harmonics can morph, okay? So below we were looking for an 886, okay? Basically right in this pocket area, okay? So if you were trading that, which you would have wanted confirmation ideally, but you would add a stop right here, okay? So you would have gotten stopped out once, and you would have had a small loss here. Then you would have regrouped yourself and you would have said, okay, maybe this isn't like a bat, right? Maybe this is actually a butterfly and it's targeting the 1618, and the 1618 is up here, and a butterfly starts at a 1272. So technically the 1272 was right again, we're looking right here, we're looking left, from X high to A low. If we were to fib that, we would hit this 1272 right here. So from that 1272 all the way to the 1618, which was a little higher than where price action went, that is all fair game, right? So now keep watching the harmonic. We're looking for the 1618, so that's up here where I put the top of the box, basically something right in there, 1618. Okay, so that's why the box is the way it is, because a butterfly has a target, target short entry of a 1272 to a 12618 range. So it went all up in that butterfly range and is now proceeding to sell off. So if you can get something of a pullback on this butterfly, would be targeting like the B, okay? And if you get it, you would then take these lows, right? But I don't think this is going to happen down here, okay? So if we're targeting that B previous area, you could see it's almost where it had like this scrub, not really, it had inverse head and shoulders, but that would have been the neckline area anyways of it. So if you were to fib from this A low to this D high up here, okay, so we drew a line, that red line, remember? So that's the B. Look what else is right there, that's the 618. So again, I'll put a second line there. Did I not click it? I'll put a second line here. Nope, doesn't want me to put a line. Okay, so again, what I'm doing here is just looking for areas where we have two coinciding things happening. We have a previous B anchor point, which is the bottom red line, and then we have the top that red line is the 618 retracement. So that's an area you know, of significance. So ideally this previous area, which was the X high, we come down, try to hold it, but it ultimately fails, pushes down. Maybe this is where you end up with your inverse head and shoulder, and that's where you push price up with your lower low into the buy zone, put in a higher low, and that's the change in structure that we'd be looking to push us back up to retest these highs again for our initial target area, back pushing price up to 42,500. So look for a sell-off into this previous B anchor point of that harmonic, which price is basically there at 38,000, even as high as like 38.5. You could layer all in that zone and be perfectly fine on YFI USDT. Okay, so now for the rest of some of these alts. Basically, let's go back out and let's go to the daily, because that's where we've been tracking the majority of these altcoins. So let's see how things are shaping up here. So this is Dash again. Oops, it got really bullish on us and it just skyrocketed out of this. Once it finally broke this level, look, remember we talked about this 1, 2, 3 times. When it hits that third touch point, it fails to hold it any longer, and it just you know, immediately went up into the next range area. Okay, so now it'll be looking to backtest that area as support here. That's where we have this layered zone. So anything you get into that area is going to be go for a long. Again, we're looking for the pullback on Bitcoin. Pretty sure this bottom area for a long, it's going to be gone. Same thing, this asset got too bullish on us. It's too far away from this area, and Bitcoin is only about, I mean, what, we're like $2,000 away from probably what'll be the very bottom of a pullback, if we even get that much of a pullback. So if Bitcoin's only going to pull 2,000 back, you know, Dash likely would not get down here again. You'd stay up around this neckline. Okay, so that's why we have these orders here. Like if we were layered in, it wouldn't be out of the question to backtest all the way down here at 22 just to square that area up. So again, if possible right now, you would want your stop below this previous discernible swing low down here, C, for now. Just for now. I know it's a wide area from up here, but again, if this just keeps going, you just continue to grab yourself some orders as much as this will give, right? Just buy another one, buy another one. It's not like you want to dollar cost average your way down and chase a downtrend, but that's not really what we're doing here. We're not chasing a downtrend. We have a plan. Our plan is we're putting in a third consecutive higher low on a Bulkowski 3 rising valleys pattern, and that's the area that you could look to fill. Anywhere in this zone would be reasonable, okay? Anything like that. So it's not that we're chasing our tails here. We have a plan for a third higher low, and if we lose these previous two areas, then it's really nice because these areas are so close to each other down here, where we got this previous A and this previous C low. So that's your area where you would have a stop below. Okay, so if we can get a stop down here below this area, you should be perfectly fine on any sort of dash entry, and then you could look to target the highs without getting stopped out and being left behind. Okay, so just whatever we can get into the zone, target one, back test maybe this previous structure that we just topped out at as support, go up, back test target one, and then ultimately make our way to target two before failing, and maybe putting in some kind of you know, in standard head and shoulders pattern up here when you'd have a swing high failure pattern where you would then put in a high on price, a higher high, followed by a lower high, and this would be kind of your turning of the trend here at the target 2 area at the D completion of a butterfly. So bearish butterfly. So this is where we could potentially see some selling, which is why we want to lock in gains at these levels. Okay, so moving along, you have your plan to layer anywhere as a go from basically 250 to 220, 250 to 220 on dash. We are to go for a long entry. This is chain link. Okay, so chain link, same thing here. We have a low time frame harmonic developing. We have third consecutive higher lows. Again, that's what we're looking for here, but we may only see a pullback again to this previous kind of midpoint. So if we kind of look back left at this B area here of this structure, we may only see a pullback to right here. Okay, so that'd be fine. It's just a higher low. You can almost say this was it, right? And then so at that point you would say, okay, even a higher low, right? So that would continue the up thrust, vertical up thrust of the trend line, and maybe we get it somewhere right there in this area. Again, we're not going to be looking to chain link per se. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin. We're going to say, okay, did we get 56.2 in reverse, or did we get 55.4, or did we go all the way to 54.4? You know, how low is Bitcoin going to give us? And then that's going to depend on if this level is going to hold for chain link. This would be, say, Bitcoin bouncing in the 55.5 area. But if Bitcoin gives you 54.4, maybe you get this. But I don't know. That's pretty far down there on Chainlink. I wouldn't. I don't think it's gonna give you that. That's too generous. You know what I mean? So I think you're more likely gonna be in this zone here, and then shoot the highs. Okay, and the highs being over here, previous X. We'd be shooting those previous highs, putting in a new high at $40. Ultimately, second target at 46. Basically, you're front running $47. So I'd probably get out in the 44, 45 area just to make sure we get a fill, right? Moving along to Ethereum Classic. Again, another extremely bullish asset here, which is Not something you say all the time on Ethereum Classic, but you know, you like to see it, love to see it once in a while, right? So same thing, too bullish, right? Too bullish to get the deep blue line retrace. So we're looking for more of this second blue line here and something in this area, okay? So we're gonna again fib from our C current swing low to the swing high, and right there again where we put this white line, we have a 618 retracement. So we have two levels here that we could look to identify. That's as a potential buy zone for Ethereum Classic, and that'd be a pretty nasty pullback, but you know, it makes sense because this is a crap coin, right? So it pulling back 20% here on a Bitcoin dump, Bitcoin dumping 2 grand. Ethereum Classic pulls back 20%, basically squares back up with this previous level here. So you could even take your target zone and you could go a little deeper, and I'll identify your potential long entry area would be between 1350 and the top of this neckline at 14. So 1350 to 14 is kind of the sweet spot area that I would look to for Ethereum Classic on a potential pullback. If we can see it again, once we would get there, we'd ideally be, you know, needing to create some kind of structure here, and then we could look, you know, to start putting in a higher low on price, and that would help to signify a turning of the trend again, aiming for the target areas. Take profit target 1, we hit it already once, but we're going to hit it again. So in this next time it's not going to hold. So 1750 was hit, and that's basically looking back left again. We kind of had our rule of 3, where at that point you're going to have this touch point here, 1, 2, and then ultimately this will be 3. It's not going to hold on that third one, and you're going to shoot the highs again, and you're going to go to $20 on Ethereum Classic. $20 is the ultimate moonshot target here for Ethereum Classic. Moving along to Maker. See, okay, so Maker's already given us the target 1 and a complete pullback, retested. This is exactly the candle we want to see on Ethereum Classic, okay? That's that 20% candle, I bet you. Let's see what we got here. So from that previous high to this candle low, yeah, 14.5%. And I mean, if you took it all the way down to where it really went, that's your 20% retracement, okay? So 15.5, 16%, okay? So we've already gotten that. We've back tested this structure, but it seems like maybe they want to test the maybe, I don't know, create a trend line here. Looks like this is probably gonna fail. Maybe it could just chop sideways and hold, but ultimately we're just looking for a higher low than these previous 2 double bottoms. Bukowski double bottom at 1765. As long as we put a higher low in than that, this asset remains bullish. Buy the dip, look to Bitcoin when we buy there, drop back over here to Maker, check it, grab a bag. Once you've secured your Bitcoin bag, you know that's time. We've now also signified that just by aiming right here, this is a 618 area, so definitely a potential area of interest, okay? So 618 is our golden retrace, and we could look to just layer all over it, okay? So anywhere around $2,070, you could even go as high as up here above this little previous square up. It'll probably square up these candles here, probably right there, 2,114. I'd start layering in 2,130. Okay, and then again we'd be looking to shoot these highs. Ultimately we're going to be looking back here in a few days, weeks, who knows how long this takes to play out. Duration is irrelevant. We're going to secure the bag, and we're going to hold the bag until we get to 3420. We're going to front run it. We're going to be layering all up in this area here. And our take profit target area, we're looking currently at a 1272. Okay, so 1272 fib level, fib extension into blue sky breakout, new all-time high for maker, 3400. Jesus, 3400. I remember maker, I mean, we were looking at this back, yeah, this previous level. There was some nice harmonics right here, X, A, B, C, D, send it. Okay, if you guys want to look back at that. Oh my god, so bullish. Yeah, where was this at here? So we had like A, B, D, we sold off. Gosh, this was definitely on a lower time. It was on the 4 hour. Either way, this was just that previous structure where we're looking at the same thing. Okay, we're looking at a low and a higher low. Okay, we never went back below that previous level, created a new higher low. There's kind of a low, a lower low, a higher low, head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulders, just reversing of the trend, right? So, and I'm sure when we were back here, we had divergence on the MACD. So you can see in that area here, let me get rid of this, we had some bullish divergence develop as we were painting this inverse head and shoulders. You had bullish divergence and you sent it. Okay, so I just wanted to, I remember we had some stuff going on back there. It's not relevant right now. Okay, so moving on to the next asset, we have Stellar Lumens. Okay, so we've been looking at Stellar here, and looks like we hit our target, right on the target, right? Funny how that happens, be like that sometime, right? Okay, so looking back, we're gonna bring this over here, and again we're looking to create some sort of structure. Look at this just massive bullish engulfing candle. Okay, so ideally it'd be really nice to see that squared up, because once we square that level up, it's kind of like we don't have to worry about it anymore. It's like a gap fill that's been filled, right? It's not something that you're gonna factor in the same way you did when it was not filled. When it was not filled, you're always concerned about it. So if we can get this area to square up here, which is basically, I mean, really anywhere in this zone here, would be ideal for a long, reaccumulate a long. Ideally, we're going to use this, this stop will be deeper until you fill, right? Once you fill and you break back above the previous neckline, that's when we were talking about we'd raise our stop and use the neckline as protection, and we might be able to just use it right now, but we also might square up. Okay, so let's just be mindful of this whole area, and we'll be looking to Bitcoin. This is such a rise in price again, though, that it's just like, you know, how deep is that going to give us? A square up that's a 25% sale on Stellar, and right now, based on this previous candle, I mean, it's pretty bullish. So, you know, there is still just as good of a chance that you don't even get near that. Okay, so if we don't get near that, where would we get? So what we do, again, we'd fib from our low to high, and we'd be targeting that 618. So we'll bring our box and we'll start at this 618, and we'll layer all the way to the square up. So when you have a wide area like this, some people might be like, geez, Duck, that's a pretty wide area, but it's not. Okay, all you do is you take the amount you were going to enter into this. Okay, you decided an amount for lumens, okay, for XLM. You said, okay, of my portfolio, maybe I have 10 grand in there. I'm going to put $750 on Stellar. So you take that $750 and you just distribute it in this area, okay? You could layer a little heavier down low, so it's a little more of a sweet orders that get filled. And you're not so underwater if heavier orders fill first, right? So it's better to fill heavy orders last. But sometimes those won't get filled because this will hold up here and run without them, and that's okay. You're just using those as protection, almost like a stop, but you're not, for these orders that do fill, right? And then your stop until you fill. Look, if you're filling this low, you can have a pretty low stop, right? So if I'm getting a fill down here at this square up, and I'm targeting these levels up here, right? Even just the first target, that's almost 5 to 1. So I can have a stop at 3 to 1, and look at that, 3 to 1. You'd be below the previous A. Okay, look how protective of a trade that would be. All right, that's the kind of risk to reward that one would want to get into. Okay, because you're really defining your losses here. It's very obvious where, you know, you're gonna cut this, and again, you might be like, that stop's too wide, and I would say, no, your leverage is too high. There's nothing wrong with my stop. There's definitely something wrong with your leverage. Okay, so let's reevaluate and, you know, ask questions that way. Okay, so we come back in here, we get a fill, we come up, hit this first target, back test it, second target, fail, get above it, hold it, second last target. Okay, so our area here is 47 cents all the way as low as 40 cents. So layer from 40 to 50, it's fine. Take your 800 bucks and split it up between 40 and 50 cents, you know, every penny layer up or something. I don't know, just you'll find a way. Okay, and the more you do this, the more you watch price come and fill those bids and fill your long orders, the more you'll see it work. Okay, you need to prove to yourself, proof of concept here, that layering is the key. And also by layering, you're limit buying. Okay, you're not market buying. These are limit orders. Okay, so you're getting you're not paying market entry fees if you just ape in. Okay, so don't ape in with your whole stack. Don't market button, layer, distribute through the buy zones. Okay, just like up here, whoops, sorry, just like up here, we can distribute, take profits. Up here we'll say take profits, take profits, take profits. Up here, take profit, take profit, take profit. So we've distributed 3 zones, 1 zone, 2 zones, 3 zones of layering. Okay, you got to get used to that. That's how a bot would be. You got to act like you're a bot, like you're an algorithm, right? You're the market maker now because you're getting maker fees instead of taker fees, stuff like that, right? So moving along, Monero, really bullish, but you do have kind of basically like almost a shooting star here, and like it's like an inverted hammer there, kind of shooting star type candle, and that typically signifies that a potential top could be in. So you didn't quite hit a square up, which means you'll get it over here. You'll still square it up. Okay, it'll just happen over here on the next time. We're gonna reset, you know, go sit down, get some rest, take a halftime break here, get some Gatorade, and then we'll run it again, and we'll get you on the next time, and we'll square up. Then we'll be back testing this previous area where we failed as support, and then we shoot the highs, which would now be shooting these highs. That would be resistance once, twice, and thrice. Doesn't hold, goes up to the new level. Okay, so again, if we can get a back test here, we've been looking for 618s. Okay, so 618 is right here at the neckline. So again, you have a neckline and you have a 618 and you have a third consecutive higher low, 3 rising valleys, Bukowski patterns at critical support resistance, at a critical fib level, and by the time we get there, ideally we paint what we've been looking for, Okay, this is going to come down all the way here. We're going to sell off, sell off, sell off, sell off. And then as we come up, okay, and come back to positive again, what we're looking to identify is these previous, this previous area here. And again, identifying that now when we tested the level, the momentum again the second time, it's put in a lower level of momentum. Okay, this is going to go from green to red. See these red islands? So picture this red island here. Okay, copy it and paste it in down here, but it's going to be lower, higher levels of negative, just more negative momentum. Okay, so the bears, the momentum, they're going to really try to push it. Okay, but what's going to happen is they're going to fail, because as price comes down here and reaches the 618, okay, that's where this area here, see how it aligns down here with our island here. So once we reach this area, that's where we've now put in, and ideally we'd be turning, right, and we'd be turning to go back green again. So what we'd have right there, if when you put in a low on momentum and you have a lower low on momentum, negative momentum, and then on price you have a higher, oops, I'm working with a different mouse tonight, sorry guys. Jeez, just doesn't want to grab what I want. Okay, so we had a low on price, and then what ultimately is going to be our higher low on price. Okay, so that is our hidden bullish divergence that's going to allow us to push to the new highs. Okay, so that is definitely what we're looking for on Monero. All right, sorry. Moving along off of Monero. Okay, here we go. Reef. Again, look what's happening here. We don't care about those. Those are just identifying the valleys, right? 3 rising valleys. So what we're attempting to do here is put in that third valley, and ideally it doesn't go any lower than, well, it could go a little lower. It doesn't matter as long as it stays above this previous level. Okay, so that being said, we want our box to raise a little higher, because we don't want to lose this level where traders settled up back here. Okay, so that's our stop would be below the wick anyways, but that's the area that I'm looking at. Okay, so if we can hold this, we still dip a little more, okay, but not a ton, because we've basically already been doing it. Okay, we're selling off, selling off, selling off, getting this level, and then we you know, sell, go up a little bit, back test it again, and then that's where we could look to shoot back to the neckline. And this time again, look, 1 2 3, this will be like the third time here, it's not gonna hold. Okay, it's gonna shoot the highs. So again, right here you would be putting in like a scrub inverse head and shoulders. We'd have a low on price, even here a low on price, a lower low on price, put in a higher low on price at the upsloping trend line. Ideally we're going to see, again, there's going to be hidden bullish divergence from here to here. We could identify that real quick again if you want to see it a second time. What we're going to look to see is a potential sell-off here, and that's going to put in the island that's going to be lower. Let me not put that one. It's going to be like this. Okay, so you're going to have this island like this, and that blue line there is going to be from it's actually got to come from back here, which means we need to sell off a ton more, okay, to get to that. It just needs to put in a lower low. But that's basically something that we're looking to identify. Okay, again, we don't really care about the reef chart per se. We care about the Bitcoin chart, the Ethereum chart, kind of the Litecoin chart, YFI, you know, the majors. Once all those majors start to build their bottoming structure like this on their various charts, that's when we just come back over to reef and just, you know, not ape in at that moment, but we're not really trying to get in here until Bitcoin's found bottom, right? Because we don't want this to fail and be in it while it's failing and just, I don't know. I wouldn't I wouldn't mess with this as a priority. Okay, these are secondary entries. Your priority needs to be the majors. Okay, stuff. Okay, this is more illiquid, so it's easier to manipulate, even though it's looking good. And ultimately, I bet we're still going to be up here, but some of those stronger assets are just easier for us to kind of tell the overall trend of the market here. Okay, so that's all I'm trying to say. All right, let's move along. Whoa. Oh yeah, this is where you guys are gonna meet Bart. Bart and Zcash are gonna have a meeting here in a few weeks. Okay, so again, we've hit a target area. Looking to backtest the neckline. This one's really looking good from a TA standpoint. Backtest the neckline, put in some kind of double bottom, shoot the highs. Okay, this one's really easy for us to identify. Again, we just want to make sure we don't lose that previous level. That would be a much higher high. Rise in the vertical upthrust of the trend, and this would just be, yeah, Zcash looking good. We're gonna get some Zcash people coming out of the woods here for the next couple weeks, days, whatever this ends up being. And then we got 3 targets here, so we'd be looking at to reload on Zcash around the neckline of $160 to 175 area, 170, 160, 170. So we reload there, we shoot the highs, first target, we hit it a second time, which would kind of be a third time, 1, 2, this will be the third time. It won't hold, we'll back test it as support. That'll give us our thrust for the highs. So we do have a target of 200, then we got 210, and then ultimately we got 243. But unfortunately, 1 Zcash will not equal 7 Bitcoin in this run. All right. Algo, same thing. It's just kind of hanging out around this neckline. We won't stop below this previous low. Looking to put in a higher low. Maybe we get the trend line. Maybe we paint a harmonic of sorts here. Let's see if there's anything X, A. Put in this below C. This would be like a cipher. Okay, so if we got a cipher, we're looking at 786, 786, 786. 786 is right in this golden pocket area here. Okay, so 786 would be a cipher. If we could paint this into a cipher, that would be a bullish cipher at the upsloping trend line at a critical 786 fib level support. We get price action to do something like this, and then we proceed to move along to our targets, right? Ultimately, we're looking to square up here at $1.70, and then if we can, we'll shoot a 1272 target up here at $2. So if we can get a fill down here at $1.08 and we're shooting 249, I mean, this seems like we got some potential move. Yeah, that's a 100. That's a double up, right? So 100% gains. Anything in between that's going to be good too. You don't need to hit the exact bottom. Just layer in over here, layer in, shoot the highs, layer out. Okay. All right, this one, look, AVAX. So of other assets that had already shot the necklines, right? AVAX failed the first time. So I don't know if we get, it's going to have to get some people to step in. We might only get this second target. This is a moonshot. That's why there's a moon up there. Okay, that's a moon bag. If you want to hold a little 10, 20, 30% bag for that, 69 target on AVAX, that's on you. But it's probably, by the time we get this to play out, it's probably going to be big. We're going to see Bitcoin already at like 70 grand. Okay, so it's probably going to be the end of it at that point. So we're looking at this potential trend line here. Sorry, we got this potential trend line here. Just refuses to draw a line. Okay, So something like this, right? We fall back into it one more time, back test that again as support. Let's see, X, A, B, C, D. We might have a small structure developing X, A low, B high, C low, 618, something like that, and then we could shoot a high 1618. So that's how we're going to get back to that first level. But that'll only be the second touch point, right? We need a rule of 3. So it's like, here's the 1, right? Here's 1. So this will be 2. Okay, we'll fail here. Sell off a little bit, come back again, and that's where we get the third touch point. And that's how we get to the highs. Back test that area now as support. And that's how we can maybe get these highs. You know what I mean? So stuff like this, right? So that's what our kind of overall view on AVAX at the moment looks like. Looking for a pullback long area, $28, anywhere from $28 to $30, and you want to stop below 23.50. Okay, Litecoin, okay. For this one, let's go into the 4-hour real quick. Okay, let's zoom in. I remember that's why we needed to zoom in on this one. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Let me give you guys Litecoin on like the 30-minute, because it's the only way you're really gonna see it. Here's why. Okay, so the price action here on Litecoin happened so drastically and dramatically that this wick, okay, it got bought up so fast and it was so tight here that it's hard to really see it. Okay, so let's get rid of some of this stuff so you guys can see what's happening here. Okay, so you have to zoom in to be able to see this. Okay, so I believe we're painting a cipher again. Okay, so a cipher has a higher high. Okay, so we put in the first X. Okay, we put in this low. From X to A is irrelevant. Okay, but it, you know, that was the initial impulse up, initial impulse wave, X to A. Then you put in this B retracement, okay, which was a 618 basically, 618 here retracement, and then you shot back up and you put in a higher high on C. So I'm gonna bring this over here just to get it, but really it's right here, okay? This is how I would paint it. And if that's a cipher, we'd be looking at a 786, okay? So 786 is there. So it looks weird, I know, because when it's tight like this, it's hard to see when they do that, all right? So let's see what's happening here. If we can get this cipher to paint, our stop loss would be down here below this previous structure, okay, this previous resistance area, where we consolidated there before, you know, marking up in price. Okay, so that area there, we're going to use this as protection for our stop. So we want to stop below that level, which is basically $200. You don't want to lose $200. So 786 cipher puts us at basically 206 here for an entry on the cipher, and if we can get that 206, you guys saw that line I just had there. It was above this previous structure here. So technically, this is not. You don't usually want to trade a harmonic until it gets to the D. Okay, we need to really not try to trade these inside waves, because the pattern's not a pattern yet. It's still just a potential pattern. But being that it's up here, maybe you even get this to square up right here and you have a really tight stop and you have a target down here of 786. You might be able to get something like that on Litecoin if Bitcoin cooperates and gives you a dump. Okay, so potential retrace on Litecoin, you know, anywhere in this area really You know, there's a 12% move. You don't even have to get that high up, right? You can still be here and be 3 to 1. Even if you aped in right now, your stop could be up here, you're still 3 to 1. And if we lose this structure, it's invalidated. Get out of there, right? Get out of there. Abort. But, you know, right now you can hold 245 as your stop, which it's acting as resistance. We have to look back left, follow that red line. Where's that coming from, right? So it's coming from back here, right there. Look at that. Look at that mark we have, okay? So that is going to act as resistance. So you can use that now that we're back to that level. You can use that as protection right now. If on a low time frame kind of scalpy poo, this would be a bullish cipher, okay? Bullish cipher. So you got to make sure and take profit, because what's going to happen is if you could get this to sell off, okay, put in some kind of double bottom here, this is going to send, all right? So you're going to get stopped out if you fail to lock in profit down here, okay? So make sure if you're messing around, don't mess around too much, because here's your window. That's it. Once that's over, you're going to give it all back, okay? So don't get greedy. Gains are gains. Okay. Band. Again, let me go to. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, let me go. Yeah, back to the daily on these. That's what we were talking about. Okay, we're in the daily for a band. That's why we don't have our data. Okay. Here's our data. Alright, so look at this. Look at that. It's beautiful. Okay, so let's clean this up. Let's see what we have going on. We have an alert set on band. We'll leave that alert there. Pretty sure it's going to remain relevant even after this conversation we have right now. Long entry area here. Extend the box. Stop below the previous structure. Okay, so we had a... Okay, yeah, this is looking really nice. Okay, so band, basically you had this Bukowski double bottom here where you put in the neckline. We had a measured move. It hit the target, take profit target 1. It's proceeding to sell off. Ideally, we get this sell off area here. It's going to alert us around $15, and we're looking to hopefully get back in at the neckline, which is at $14.50. So you could see how this previous neckline, that's kind of what we're doing over here, right? We had the initial up thrust, okay? So here's the initial up thrust. Let me zoom in for you guys a little bit more. So you could see these two necklines. Okay, guys, so watch this price action, okay? So you have this initial up thrust, and then we had a back test of that neckline, right? And then we shot the high again, and we even back tested it a third time. So you got 2 entries on the back test for a confirmation double bottom. Look at that double bottom, right? See that double bottom we're looking for. So we had the initial up thrust, we come down, we get the double bottom. Right here you get the double bottom, you consolidate a bit at support, symmetrical triangle, target to both the downside and the upside. We shot the upside, hit the move, and then never came back. We now back tested that level as support. That's now where our stop is at, and let's do that again. Okay, so similar structure. If we can just get that to back test and double bottom, regard as support what was once resistance will now be regarding as support. We then take it back up, test the highs, 1, 2, rule of 3, strike, you're out, break that one, shoot the next high, right? So ultimately target areas are this previous high square up at $18. Next target would be the new all-time high for band, $23.30. This is where we look to short these shit coins and get some god tier entry shorts, okay? We'll talk about that later. Tune in. All right. AAVE is painting a harmonic. Let's change the color of it. Oh, that's beautiful. You have a bullish butterfly, so we'll go purple because it's a butterfly. There you go. All right, so bullish butterfly. It looks like a couple things are happening here. Okay, so let's zoom in. I'm gonna get rid of the larger harmonic real quick. We don't need that right now. Okay, so let's clean this up. I want to show you guys why we're at this long area. Okay, why is that our area? Okay, so let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this box. We could redraw the box later. This will be our stop for later. Okay, so two things are happening here. Okay, so let's paint this again. First thing we're going to do is we're going to fib from the discernible swing low to the swing high. Okay, so again, what have we been looking to identify on these? We've been looking for this 618, right? So there's our 618. That came from the previous swing low to the discernible swing high. This is the 618. Okay, I'm even going to, let's do it like that. Sorry, I like to put these rays on there because you guys, they mark price over here, whereas that line, it doesn't mark price. So I know some of you guys are like, well, what price is that? So I can put bids there, right? So we'll go with that. All right, so that's our 618. So now we had this smaller low. Okay, so you see, we put in the low, we went up, we put in a high, and then we sold off. We had this huge sell off, and then we, ended up selling off a little bit more the next day. So this took 2 days to put in this next low, and then now we got bought back up and proceeded up to put in a lower high than that previous high. Okay, so this is how we're getting our swing anchor points. So X, A, initial upthrust, B, low, 50% retracement at 420, C high, 886, 786, deep retracement, and now we're looking for that 618, right? So what else we just did in order to do that, let me show you. Okay, so this was where we anchored just now. Okay, so if we anchored from right here and we anchored up here, look what just happened. Okay, see this blue line? That's the 1618 golden mean ratio landed right on top of the 618 golden retrace. Okay, so let's mark that area twice, and look how tight that area is. That's beautiful. Okay, with the concise clear stop below the previous structure low. You could even raise that a little bit. You don't have to be as conservative. Stop below here, and this is how we were going to line up this next area of the trade. Again, it's going to paint a bullish bat right there. So now that we see the anchor points, X, A, B, C, D, 618. Okay, so right there you're looking at a 618. Anywhere in here, you're looking for a 1618 and a 618, just anywhere in that area, right? Just layer it in. You're going to take that to the next target 1 and 2. So this is going to be some really equitable trading. If you guys can get yourselves a fill, stop below here, target 1, that's 65%, boys. Target 2, that's 90%. All right, so this is how we're identifying AAVE. Again, we have these: a low, a higher low, third higher low, one valley, two second rising valley, third higher valley, three rising valleys, three higher lows, three rising valleys, Bolkowski pattern into a measured move into target 1, target 2 being a fib from our previous high to low, target 2 being the 1272. 1272 is a butterfly D target. X, A, B, C, D1272 right here. That's a butterfly, bearish butterfly. Okay, so look at the harmonics within harmonics, right? So beautiful, beautiful price action on AAVE. Okay, we're gonna make this one into an NFT after we hit it. Boom. Rareable. Put that shit on the blockchain, boys. All right. Next, we have Cosmos. Cosmos below the neckline. Again, we're targeting a 618 from low to high. Let's mark off the 618. Let's get really repetitive, really robotic, right? That'll help us define everything. There's the rising of the tide. That is our kind of area of interest here, okay? So if we just mark ourselves in that box, anywhere in this area is going to be where we want to bid. Stop below 16, layer anywhere in the 20 to 18, target 1, 27, target 2, 30, 31. Okay, Cosmos. The doggy, look what's happening. We're getting a doggy breakout. Okay, so we said this was going to happen. Okay, we got our low, we have our higher low, we shot up, we back tested, we put in the higher low already. A lot of times I've noticed when Dodge runs, it runs independent of a lot of things. So if Bitcoin's selling off, everything's selling off, but Dodge is running, it's just a stupid meme coin that runs on its own, right? So we never squared back up, we put in that higher level, and you know what though? I mean, it's still possible we square up because X, A, B would be here, 786B, 786C, 786D, right? So it's still possible we get that square up. That's why we have that identified. Again, harmonic within a harmonic. Look for 786 retracement. It would square this area up where traders first took off out of that zone. That does actually line up with the Bitcoin sell-off. But you know, this thing's doing, it's got a mind of its own, and it's up here already above and back tested that previous resistance. We now broke through and back tested as support. So this little dog might be strong, but if you can get it, layer in down here, and we're going to target for you know, we're going to have a stop, easy defined stop at 49 cents, and our target is going to be ultimately $1. So if you can get a fill at 49 cents, even get a fill at 51 cents, it doesn't matter. If you're targeting $1, you don't have to be exactly at 40 cents, you know what I mean? So $1, well, first target would be here. Stop basically set itself. And the next target, so first target 55%, second target at $1 is your 80% gains. Okay, so those are the current view on the dog. Okay, looks good though, looks good, love to see it. All right, back to Bitcoin. Selling off. What are we doing? I don't even know. We've been looking at a bunch of other crap, so I guess let's check the 60 real quick and whoops. Yeah, bit of a sell-off, so that's starting to you know, go in our direction here a little bit. Whoa, look at this. See, remember we painted this harmonic? Yeah, look at that respect. Look at, we had that POC 886 double top, tweezer double top, third lower high, 3 falling peaks, Bulkowski pattern into a bearish bat at a critical POC, critical fib level, third consecutive lower high, and everyone on Twitter was bullish right here. What the fuck? All right, sold off, dump it, right? So we said this was a critical line, okay? The B, that's that 58 1,400 that we've been talking about for the last couple days in the Discord, where I said if we hold 58.4, we go. We did not hold. We failed. Okay, so you don't want to ape in too soon here, because look, we failed. And look at, you squared up. Look at that square up. Okay, so you have a potential second square up down here at 56.6, and then ideally we're looking to flip and shoot those. Okay, let me show you something. If we get rid of some of this, okay, does this look like what we've just been looking at on everything? Okay, so look at how we have a stop below the previous lows. Okay, so stop was below that low, so this next stop can actually be below this low. Now we could be moving our stop up, right? So we resistance, we broke through, we tried to back test it, ran up, but then ultimately failed. Resistance again, now we broke through. So ideally we back test that, maybe, and you come back to that 58.4 again and fail, and then that's where you do something like this. Okay, so I guess let's just keep an eye out on this price action coming up, and let's see how this develops. And we'll go live again a few hours from now and see what's up. But hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and yeah, we'll do plenty more to come. All right, guys, I will catch you on the other side. Ducks out.